if you would, tell me what you're doing for a living right now.
Currently, I'm an art teacher at the Presidio Elementary.
Okay.
I do paintings outside of school, and I'm working on a community mural
Excellent.
with different groups from Presidio.
Okay. So, when did you first encounter art?
My first encounter, ever since I had a pencil in my hand, I would draw in the walls on my house.
So, did you have an art teacher or did you just do it by yourself?
I just did it by myself. I would draw the cartoons I'd see on TV.
Okay.
There's still some drawings pasted on my old house in Ojinaga.
When was the first time you took a formal art class?
Formal art class, like, well, we had an art class in elementary and middle school. But I guess my interest didn't rise to that I wanted to paint or anything. I just wanted to do cartoon characters.
Yeah.
I think everything changed when I went to high school with my art teacher. Jorge Avena, that's his name. And he started painting in class, doing murals around town too, and showing us the images of the murals he would do around the state. He's done 6 murals in Los Angeles, and that's how I started getting into the painting part of art.
Can you say his name again?
Jorge Avena.
Okay. Spell his last name.
Avena.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. So you also are involved with music. So tell me a little bit about your musical training and upbringing.
I was always my family play instruments. My dad plays the accordion. My uncle used to play the guitar and part at family reunions. And I guess I was always around music since I was an infant. And the fact that my dad would listen to music all day long, it rose my interest in music.
So when you were an undergraduate in college, how many bands did you play for?
I think I went up to 3 bands at a time, different bands, a mariachi, a norteño, and a tejano / country, cumbia. It's a versatile, I would say. Yeah. We play anything they would ask us to play. Basically.
So have you found an intersection between your visual art and your music in your life yet?
That's as I was going through college, I was trying to see what I could do to mash both things together, and that's one of my dreams, to be able to do something that mixes both music and art, painting, into one thing, one project.
Interesting. Okay, so what was the decision that you made to study art in college? Tell me about that process that you got to.
Well, at first, there was 2 things I wanted to do, well, 3 I was looking to doing. First one was music major. Second one, art. I also wanted to do something with math at some point. But I think I decided to go to the art because I wanted to learn more techniques, different aspects of art, which I did. I learned the printmaking, a little bit of ceramics, and painting.
And so You're a first generation college kid.
Yes.
Okay. So taking the risk to study the arts as a profession, what did you think about? Where was your head when you said, I'm going to be an art major? Were you thinking about what was going to happen after graduation? Did you have a plan?
Well, first, my family was kind of hesitant for me to be an art major. There was doubt. What are you going to do with the art major? Just paint? How are you going to sustain yourself by painting? So I guess that's when I started thinking that maybe I should do to become a teacher and teach art, what I like, to the kids, and maybe even have them become passionate about the art.
So
So I decided to pursue, keep going with the art and education, so I could do both, teach and at the same time be able to paint and work on commissions around town and different places.
So what are some of the things you try and impart on your students about how to fall in love with the arts? Where's your teaching philosophy of the arts at this point in your life?
Well, I tell the students that art is everywhere. It's as important as any other subject. Simply looking at their shoes, their designs, how a design makes them want to buy a product. The color, the shape, everything.
Okay, so tell me about your transition from high school to college, from leaving a small town and then moving to a larger city.
And it was different because I was the first one to leave Presidio from my family. Intimidating. So I was basically by myself, and I had to learn how to live in the city. There was no guide as to what to do and where to go. And so I had to basically learn on my own.
So how long did it take before you felt comfortable with that transition?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a transition because I would have to go back to Presidio each weekend because of the bands.
Mm-hmm.
I would come and go, come and go, come and go. It was towards my junior year that I decided to do away with music for a while and just focus on finishing my degree. That's when the transition began.
Yeah.
My last 3 years of college. That's when I focused in just art.
So tell me about your family history for a minute. Kind of step back into the history of where the Deondas Sanchez group came from and the history, especially on the border, about some of the stories that you've told me in the past, right? That about your family and the transitions they've had to make.
Well, my dad, he's from a ranch in Ojinaga called Tres Casas, 3 houses. Mm-hmm. Mainly, they were an agricultural farming family. They would depend on the seasons to irrigate their crops. They would sell the crops. They would live off the land, basically. Yeah. As they had chickens, cows, horses, all the you know, they survived off of what they produced, and if they had a extra a surplus of crops, they would sell them to in town. And my dad would go walking to school. It would take him 2 hours to get to his elementary. It would take him even more. Like, he would walk up to 10 miles a day to get to school, back and forth. And after work, after school, he would work. He would go to the, he would go fetch water from the nearest well, chop wood, you know, all the chores from back then.
Mm-hmm.
He would have to work to support the family, help my grandfather. And my mother, she's from La Estación del Chepe, where the train station used to be. And she lived with her grandparents, my great-grandparents. They had a store. And they would basically live off of the store. A little mini store they had there. That store was there. It was one of the oldest stores in Ojinaga, if I could recall.
Wow. So you have brothers and sisters?
I have 2 sisters.
And are they older or younger?
Younger. I'm the eldest.
Yeah. Now, were they nurtured in the music and the art the same way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My younger sister, she used to play in the mariachi. And the youngest of them all, she's a musician as well, and I guess she's also wanted to be an artist and musician. She's in the mariachi. She's about to form her own band.
And how old is she?
She's 13 years old.
Wow.
She's about to be a freshman this year.
Okay.
It was like 2 years ago. I'm going from Juarez to Chihuahua in a van with a bunch of, my musician colleagues. Keep in mind they're all white. I'm the only Mexican there. So we we go through to a cross point. There's some federales searching. And they ask all of us for identification. They look at me. You're not from here. Yes, I was born in Ojinaga. Nací en Ojinaga. I told him in Spanish, of course. And no, necesitamos papeles. We need your papers. We need to make sure you belong here. Or else we'll take you to jail or send you back. So I had to go to I guess I would call it the immigration office, to get a permit so I could go to Mexico. So I have become a U.S. citizen, and I can't travel to Mexico freely without a permission slip or permit. It lets me go.
So let's talk about that for a minute, okay? Because we're dealing with a region that and I've heard people refer to it as the third space. It's not Mexico, so you don't have that ownership of Mexico anymore, and it's not really the United States, because the issues that you deal with, let's say in a city like Presidio, are so different than maybe a Dallas or a Fort Worth or even an Odessa or a Midland. So what are some of the challenges of being an artist, you know, and in specific, being an artist in this kind of space where you have those issues that come up? Do you see it as an opportunity, you know, for great content in your work? Or do you see it as a limitation?
It can be both. One of the biggest limitations is supplies. There's almost no supplies for someone that wants to be a printmaker, a painter, even be in ceramics. or the interest of the of people there to, I guess, purchase a piece of art, or if their interest, they look at the price and their first reaction is, why is this so expensive? I can buy it at Walmart for $25, you know? But they don't realize it takes work and patience to do something, passion.
So you do a lot of work between the borders. So tell us a little bit about some of the leadership activities you've been involved with between the two countries with the arts. Some of your experiences working between the state of Chihuahua and the state of Texas.
One of the things we work each year, ever since 2012, when I went back, was the Arts Festival, Binational Arts Festival now. We work between Ojinaga and Presidio to kind of start having the people learn more about art, be more interested in the arts. So what we started doing the last weekend of March is an art walk across the bridge. This year we did the Inside Out project by Junior along the fence of the bridge in Presidio and Ojinaga. There was a ceremony, like a symbolic ceremony at the borderline, where we had the mayor from Presidio and mayor from Ojinaga shake hands, trade flags, and we had the Presidio High School band play along the way, and met with the Ojinaga Symphonic Band. They started playing together. And from there we went to the museum, Museo y Casa de la Cultura. So, in English it would be the House of Cultures. And they had a stage for them to perform. So they played all night, back to back. And then towards the end, both bands meshed together and played together a few songs. And while this happened, there was an art exhibit going on inside the museum. A Pancho Villa exhibit, and they just opened an archaeology space for the museum as well. We had a ceramicist display his works, Cipriano Bueno. He also worked when Pots and Prince went to the elementary. We had him work with us as well. The kids, the students from the elementary their minds were blown to see how kilns work, how printmaking works. They were never exposed to it. That's the first time they get exposed to it. They were excited to see they were excited to see something different from what they're used to.
Okay, so tell me about how you've started to work with the local government agencies in Presidio to bring about like the Binational Art Festival. You know, are you serving on committees? Tell me about what committees they are. Tell me about the work that's done to make those things happen.
Well, this year we're working on a art committee council.
Yeah, say that again. This year
This year we started at the art committee council, and it's basically a group of people that are really interested in promoting the arts in Presidio and Ojinaga, because we work together. We're connected. We're the same people.
And so when you were in college, did you see yourself in this kind of political leadership advisory role, becoming a leader in your community?
I never thought myself mixing with politics. But I guess it's one of those things uh, you cannot, trying to think.
That's all right. This is free flowing, man.
Yeah, you have to be able to talk to those people so that they could help projects exist. You need the resources to be able to have projects. As of now, we're working on the community mural, and I'm hoping it's like the gateway to start making more murals around town to make Presidio more colorful. And at the same time, I would like to have the kids, the students from any grade level, feel identified with what they did, like feel pride for the mural. Like I belong here.
Oh,
Sense of
interesting.
belonging. And it's been interesting the way people have approached me, because they've been calling. They call me, they email me, or through Facebook, even Instagram. Yeah, asking me, can we meet there this day at this time? I'll take a group of kids. Like the migrate program students went there, and it was like about 10 kids at first, less than 10 kids. And throughout the week, the group started growing. At some point, we had up to 50 kids with a paintbrush. What really got me was when a disabled girl, like a pre-K girl, 5-year-old, with cerebral palsy, she wanted to paint as well. So we got her in her wheelchair and gave her a brush, gave her a container with paint. She was brushing her life away. She was having fun. Those are the things that count. It makes it worth it when kids want to participate, no matter the age.
Have you found great satisfaction personally and professionally because of your decision to study the arts?
Yes, up to now, I would say it's a blessing. Things are starting to fall into place. People are starting to participate more, because before there was no interest in doing something related to art in Presidio. Only the arts festival, which would be just the last weekend of March each year.
And tell me just a little bit about your future plans. Where's Ramon going to be in 5 years?
I wouldn't be able to say, because things change from one day to another. But I would really want to keep the arts growing in Presidio and Ojinaga and the region. I even want to be able to even have a studio there. So at some point have private lessons with people that are really interested in painting.
So how about your professional goals?
Professional goals?
More education?
At some point, I want to start I want to do my master's, be able to learn, to be exposed to different ideas and techniques, different people, learn more from different parts of the world too.